From that empty lot hilltop facing Fair Oaks Boulevard to the beautiful campus we have here today. What a blessing, what a blessing. Tal, thank you so much for taking us down memory lane. That was really a great video. You know, I was thinking this morning about all the lives that have been affected. When you look at that and you start to think the thousands and thousands of lives that have been affected by this church. And I think each one of us probably have that special time in our lives, or maybe a special moment in our lives when somebody here at this church has meant something really extra to you. And you know, we should remember that. We need to think about that. So I'm going to ask each one of you just to take just a few seconds this morning, close your eyes, and just try to think of some special moment that you've had here at FOPC. Just close your eyes for a minute and think with me, would you? Just for a minute. Now, as you open your eyes, it's all about the future. And that's what we're here today to talk about, and the lives that are going to be impacted by this campus in the future. Maybe another 60 years or many, many more. We're just, who knows how many more lives will be affected. But let's go back to the buildings just for a minute. When we look at all of that construction and the work that's gone on, but what is the one thing that all those buildings have in common that the K building, the new K building, doesn't have in common? It's all that they were paid for when we cut the ribbons or when we dedicated the buildings. They were all paid for paid for very shortly afterwards. It didn't take very long. Every one of them were paid for. And that's our hope and prayer, that this new K building can be paid for over the next 3 years. That's the Fair Oaks tradition, to pay off their debts, and that's what we're hoping will happen with this one. That's our hope and our prayer, that this building can be paid for and debt-free in 3 years. Yeah, today we launched G2G2. Did you notice the big new beautiful banners we have up here? I think they're just outstanding. Our gals do such a great job. You know, in our first campaign, we were blessed with almost $4 million that was given by you, the congregation. And you've heard me say this before. You've paid for the first floor, now you got to pay for the second floor. That's what G2G is all about. You know, this campaign is going to be a little bit different than a lot of other campaigns. Number one, it's going to be shorter than other campaigns, only 6 weeks. The other thing I think you need to know is this campaign is what I call an in-house only campaign. We have no outside consultants, we have no outside events. It's all on us. We're doing this campaign ourselves, and we've got a great group of people who are working on it, and you'll see a lot of that coming in the next 6 weeks or so. You know, the math is pretty simple if you think about it. If all of those who contributed to that first G2G campaign for 2 years would just recommit for the next 3 years at the same rate that they gave in the 2 years, and if we can get a few new people on board that didn't join in that first campaign, or maybe you're a new member, if we can just get all of that, that will reach us, and we will be debt-free at the end of 3. You're going to hear that a lot, debt-free at the end of 3. It's that everyone has to do something, though. Everybody's got to get on board. That's what it takes, everybody on board. Remember, it's not equal gifts, it's equal sacrifice. You know, all of you should have received this brochure, hopefully this week in the mail. And if you're on our mailing list, you would have got it. If you didn't receive it, there's copies down at the front. Be sure and pick one up. And, you know, read through this. This has got a group of wonderful people's comments and what have you. It really tells a great story of what's going on and has gone on here and how this new K building is affecting us. Just don't throw it in the round file. Some of you might be tempted to do that. keep it. Continue to read it. It's got great stuff, as I've said. I want to just share a couple comments from a couple people out of the book here. This one from Megan Brady, our new Sunday school director. Our church has made a big investment in the next generation. Every week we see new kids, new families who are drawn to the church because we send the message, kids matter here. Kids matter here. From Chris, our youth director. Watching the kids come into the building for the first time is an experience I'll never forget. They felt valued. They felt at home. They knew they had a church that cared about them. That's the kind of things you'll find in here, and really, that's what it's all about. It's about the youth and the kids and the future of our church. The future of our church is happening right back there, right now, and it happens there almost 7 days a week. So here's your challenge this morning. This is what I'm going to ask each one of you to do. I want you to make a commitment. Make a commitment this morning that you and your family will start to pray about what your part can be in this new campaign. Don't decide today what you think you might be able to do. Don't do that today. You pray about it, and between now and May 15th, the good Lord will lead you to what your part should be. So remember that. If we all get on board and if we do our part and listen to what the Lord tells us to do, we'll be debt-free in 3. Can you see? That's almost a tongue twister. Debt-free at the end of 3. Debt-free at the end of 3. Can you say that with me? Debt-free at the end of 3. I can't hear you. Debt-free at the end of 3. Thank you. God bless you, and welcome to the future.